Hey everybody, it is TheAngryHoneyBadger, and it's time for Badger's Picks once again. We're gonna see who's free this week and which 4 champions I'm gonna recommend. Free this week, we have Aatrox, Anivia, Evelynn, Graves, Nunu, Pantheon, Sona, Soraka, Urgot, and Victor. And for my first recommendation, I'm gonna throw it over to him. I'm gonna do it. Ready for it? Urgot. Boom, that just happened. The reason why I'm gonna recommend Urgot is because he is playable. We've seen this now. It's been a few weeks. The patches where he got the buff and just the current meta, I don't want to say fit him amazingly, but it fits him fairly well, to be honest. And if you've never had a chance to practice him, I think it's worth it because I think a lot of people still don't know how to play against him. So if you can minorly understand his kit, I think it goes a really long way. And I think you can actually do quite well in lane with him if you do know more about him. So I highly suggest playing him this week if you haven't. My next recommendation is going to be in the jungle, and that would be for Pantheon. Now, Pantheon fits a very interesting spot. There's 2 current types of teams that I'm noticing a lot right now. It's either Cinderhulk teams and very tanky teams that are trying to get to the late game and utilize their tanky stats for team fighting and for objective control. Then there's champions like Pantheon, who fit an early game meta where they deal lots of damage early and can get snowballing lanes ahead. That's him totally. And if you kind of want to skip out on playing a tank and you want to play somebody who does a lot of damage early on, Pantheon's great for this. He ganks at level 2, he does lots of damage. So try him out if you're looking for more damage in the jungle. My next recommendation for the week, gonna actually then switch this up and throw it over to Nunu. Now, I do really like Nunu. I think he is a good champion. He doesn't deal a lot of damage though, but he has good utility. And because popular champions like Sivir and Jinx and other hyper carries are being played, Blood Boil does really good work on those ADCs, and that actually really helps them just excel throughout team fights. The other thing I like about Nunu is he can counter jungle incredibly well, and he has great objective control. So those 2 things kind of make him a menace in some ways. Go steal a buff early. It's really easy with your consume and a smite. You can just run through and get buffs fast and kind of mess up enemy jungles, which is a good way to keep the enemy team down. And just controlling those objectives is so important, especially when Baron is so strong right now, as we know, with those empowered minions. And as for my final recommendation for the week, I'm going to give that one over to Victor. Now, I do like Victor. I think he's fun ever since they did his little tweak on his rework. He's become just better in general, way better than he used to be previously. I think also a lot of people, at least from what I understand or hear from you, is casting his E is not always the easiest. I think it's important to practice that, so go practice his E. One thing I would highly suggest too, when you're learning it for sure, is to take it off of SmartCast if you do use SmartCast. You can SmartCast it, it is possible. I SmartCast it I think whenever I play him typically, but at first it's really awkward, I will say that much. It's very similar to trying to cast a Rumble ultimate on SmartCast. It's just super awkward and doesn't usually work out perfectly well. So take notes of that, but I think he does propel fairly well and does a good amount of damage in the mid game, so you might want to try out Victor. Those are the champions that are going to be free this week. Let me know down below in the comments which of the 4 champions out of these 10 you might be playing this week. I'd like to know what you all are playing. But other than that, yeah, if there's a box around any of their pictures, that means you can click on it. It will take you to a build and guide of some sort. And yeah, check it out. Be sure to do that. Other than that, good luck this week on the Fields of Justice.